this is Azia Boston from Boston Desi Connection with cameraman Dr. Sohaib Siddiqui. We are very delighted to have today in our studio Dr. Kashif-Ul-Huda. I'm used to call him Kashif Bhai. Kashif Bhai, by profession, he is a scientist, but about 10 years ago, he started online newspaper. And in the beginning, he was trying to focus on some social issues of Indian Muslims. And now, mashallah, it is running very successfully. It was started in English, but now it is also published in Hindi too. The newspaper name is Two Circle Net. Two Circle Net is celebrating its 10th anniversary next week. So we call to Kashif Bhai, please come at BDC's studio with us and let's meet him and talk to him and know more about Two Circle Nets and its mission. So welcome in our studio, Kashif Bhai. And I heard that you have your 10-year celebration of TC Two Circle Net. Tell us about, to our audience, about what is Two Circle Net and how it started.
Yeah. So twocircles.net started about 10 years ago, and the reason for that was, the issues that we see, Muslim stories that come in Indian media, and we're talking about Indian media specifically, is always in a negative context, right? Either terrorism, communal violence, or that they are backward and stuff like that, or very stereotyped way of looking at that. And we wanted to change that. And see, there's a huge community of Indian Muslims spread all over India. There's a lot of diversity within that, a lot of different opinions, different practices, and different cultural tradition going back thousands of years. So we wanted to bring all that into that website, and for Muslim readers, provide positive role models in the community that the young kids who are growing up can look at those stories and get inspired by that. So that was the main idea, to kind of correct the tilt, the bias against Muslim that was there in the Indian media.
So once you started, it's about 10 years ago, you started from India or from here?
No, I was based here. Actually, it started when I was in California.
Okay.
And then, I moved to Florida, and then now I'm in Boston. So I have continued all that. So I'm based here, but I have reporters on the ground in India.
Oh, so your reporters living in there and they are sending every day, or because I think it's published on continuous basis or daily, or what is that?
Yeah, so as any website, it's like a 24/7 job. Obviously, we're not that big, so but we update every day, and we have reporters from Kashmir to Kerala to Assam to Maharashtra, and they are doing stories from their own state, their own region. Plus, we also have our reporters travel as well. For example, right now, our reporter who's based in Delhi, Amit, he is traveling in Meghalaya and reporting from there, Northeast India. Yeah. So they send it to a central location. The stories get edited and then gets published. So it's being updated every day.
And I don't know what is the reason actually. What happened after the partition that Muslims coming more backward in education. What do you think? Even after 10 years, you know more fact about this. So what is the reason of their darkness or?
So first of all, the guilt of partition was there in the first generation post-independence. So they were, very afraid to demand their rights, what's needed and what was due to them as an equal citizen of India, independent India. There was obviously a bias against them as well for whatever reasons, and that had continued for a long time. The baggage of partition was also very heavy on at least a generation before me, like my parents' generation. But the new generation that's growing up very confident that we have India is our country. And there's no illusion about it. We're not going to Pakistan, and we, as an equal citizen, demand our rights. So the new generation that's coming up is very confident, and they are demanding their rights as an equal citizen of India. We're not looking for special treatment. We're looking for what's due to us as an equal citizen, what the Constitution provides us. So there has been a lot of period of backwardness and things that were not given to them. But as you know, India is also there are a lot of opportunities opening up and all that. So Muslims are taking advantage, and it's also, you know, they're not they are behind than other communities, but they are moving forward. So it's not like the distance is growing. It's not
yes,
growing.
I can see the change right now. You know, little afraid to
that. Yeah.
But after that reservations will and everything's coming up for the Muslims. What do you think? Reservation is really good for Muslims as a citizen of India, because when we say I am citizen of India, you are citizen. So if every citizen is equal, why reservation?
Right. So Constitution provides for reservation. So it's not like we're asking for something different. Constitution provides for reservation for any community that's backward. So we're not asking that we need reservation based on our religion. No, we need reservation because Muslims as a community are backward, and there have been a lot of studies, such a committee, Raghunath Mishra, all saying that. These are government commissions who are saying that Muslims need reservation. And there have been a lot of studies done that communities that have reservation benefit, they have progress. So they have progress materially and socially and economically, and educationally. So given that Muslims are below Dalit community right now, they need that help to come to an equal terms with other communities. So that's what we're looking for. The other thing that's really damaging that was done was the 1950 presidential order that said that the scheduled caste community, scheduled caste, that's called in India of the Dalit communities, and only Hindus will be considered Dalit and can get the benefit under the scheduled caste act. So the reservation is, and that was modified, that was amended to include Buddhists and include Sikhs, but Christians and Muslim Dalits still don't get reservation under the scheduled caste. So that's a religious discrimination based on religion of people that need to be removed. So we're not asking for any special treatment, asking for that's due to them as a backward community, as a Dalit community from Muslim and Christian faith. And that will definitely help. And the reason that Muslims need to be helped is that we want India to progress.
Yes.
If a huge community of people, 150 million people, are backward, then that brings down India as well. So it is to help them achieve what is their due in the society.
And run with the mainstream.
That's right.
So I don't know, but why? It's my thinking. Maybe I am wrong. But when we say reservation for Muslims, are we marginalized?
We are marginalized.
Why? We are Indian.
We are Indian, but we have been marginalized since independence. That's the question you asked in the beginning, right? I mean, there have been forces, and now these forces, unfortunately, are now very out in the open. So they are marginalizing Muslims. They are, they are being removed from the history books. Their contributions are being negated or minimized. So it is also a right to be in the public space. It is a right to resources, a right to governance. We want equal share as an equal citizen. But there are forces that are based on hate and against Muslims. They are trying to marginalize those, and Muslims are not the only marginalized community in India. Dalits are being marginalized, Adivasis are marginalized, other minorities are marginalized. So it's and when we say mainstream, I mean, when we talk, the marginalized are the mainstream because they are in the majority. So it is a very few elites of India who are now running the whole show. So it's a way to get back to the governance. So I mean, of course, there are aspirations as other Indian Indians have aspirations. Muslims in India also have aspirations. They see India also making a march towards a better economy, and they are also benefiting. It's not like they're not benefiting from it, and they also want to position themselves in a way that they can benefit from all the opportunity that are being created. So as I said, again, there are forces that are trying to stop from happening, and that's why you see a lot of conflicts happening. Is also because of the resource limitations and the competition for resource. So that's Muslims are progressing socially. I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to see, but if you go to a Muslim community now or Muslim muhalla, a typical Muslim muhalla, things are better. People have better quality of life. People have better facilities at home. Still, they have to learn the political system. I think they're still either afraid or marginalized. So, for example, if you go to Muslim Mahalla, still the streets are not paved, for example, the nalas are still running like that. And it's either because Muslims still don't know how to approach the bureaucratic and political forces to get that done.
That is the my message.
Yeah. You also, you understand that political system, the bureaucratic system is working for you as a citizen of India. So as an equal citizen, you have to go and get those things done. Of course, there are people with biases and all that, but still there is government machinery that we need to understand how it works, and then get things and then services that you need. And that may be more work needs to be done. A grassroots level kind of political leadership needs to emerge. Activism needs to happen. So there's a lot more work needs to be done. But I'm very hopeful of the new generation that's coming up. They are well connected with issues and all that. And the good thing is not just thinking about the Muslim community, but also what other things are happening outside within India, in different communities, all that, and so they're well connected with the issues.
New generation is much liberal, much free thinker. They said, okay, Indian is all Indian.
Yeah.
But politically, if we see this, oh my God, it's just like everything is going to crash right now.
Yeah.
So in this situation, what do you think, and what is the role of the media, and what is the role of people who are working with the NGOs and non-profit organizations doing things?
I mean, as you know, media tend to sensationalize, and those are the stories that people also read. So there's a market, and they provide that. Right.
Every time they want masala.
Yeah, of course. So that's So what happens? The extremes of the community or extreme news get highlighted more than what's normal. So the responsibility of the media should be that display the whole diversity of opinion, not just present one person that he speaks to the Muslim community. That's a big disservice to the community, because there's a lot of different opinion as well in the community. So that needs to be highlighted. There are a lot of good things that's happening in the community that needs to be highlighted. Of course, there are issues and there are challenges and controversies and whatnot, and that's fine to discuss that. But just looking at Muslim from one set of glasses, that's a problem.
So that's good, very, very, very interesting. But one thing I'm because we are here, and I also working with so many non-profit organizations right here, and we see that every religion, not only religion, even regional organizations, and they are trying to educate their region, their language, their culture within the region,
right.
Not the all India level,
Yeah.
but on the regional level. What do you think? Muslims is waiting somebody come and do something. So what do you think?
So the issue is, so especially sitting in America, we see, who are the people who came here, right? People from South India, people from Western India. If you see the Muslim backwardness, you see Assam, that's where West Bengal, Bihar, that's a huge population of Muslims. So these regions are backward in general. So the people who came to US from these regions, it's rare. I mean, there are a lot of Bengali Hindus, that's exceptional. Yeah. But other than that, you don't meet a lot of Assamese here, for example. So representation of Muslim is fewer there. So that's why we don't have any strong organizations from that region that can provide the support that's needed, given that the huge problem, and it's just compounded by the fact that there are very few people representing that region here. So there are some organizations here. If we talk about Indian Muslims, for example, IMRC, they're doing some work in West Bengal. AFME is doing some work in these regions. Of course, these are very small. Yeah, so it's ultimately it's the government responsibility, right? I mean, it's a huge problem. No one organization, especially given Muslim community, they don't have that much resources to set up schools for all the kids, even if they want to go to school. So it's using right of education. It is the government's responsibility to provide schools and education to these kids. So it's not like Muslims don't want to send their kids to school. It's not. The problem is that those schools are not there. They're not accessible to them. So they end up going to the madrasas because at least they can learn how to read and write.
Right.
And these madrasa maktabs, who are in the small masajid with one imam.
I'm a madrasa product too.
Yeah, all of us went to some sort of maktab to learn. But for unfortunately, a lot of our kids, that's the only education they get because government has failed to provide schools to them. So if the schools are there, they will go. Now everybody, and I go to rural areas and all that, they understand the importance of education, they understand the value of it, and they want to send those kids. But opportunities are there, resources are not there. So we have to pressure the government that, hey, treat them as equal citizens, provide them the same opportunities, don't discriminate just because these kids are Muslims.
So you, in 2 seconds that you are covering all these stories and try to bring these kind of social issues or educational issues in front of government. What is the response you have to give?
Yeah, no, right. So we have to act as a watchdog against the government policy because government, and whether it's a UPA or NDA, same thing. They just say, oh, we have these schemes for this and this. So recently we did we recently did a evaluation of all the schemes, the Ministry of Minority Affairs, and say, we have these schemes, and we find out that in most cases this is not reaching the beneficiaries. They are announced, money is allocated, but sometimes the money is returned back to the government because they are not being utilized because the government machinery that's at the local level, which is at the implementation level, they are not interested in those issues. And also it's a fault of the Muslim community as well that the resources are there and they're not able to put the pressure on the local government that, hey, these schemes are there, give us the benefit. So it works both ways. So we act as a watchdog on that. When Salman Khurshid was Ministry of Minority Affairs Minister, then we suggested some things and there's no monitoring. So we even at that time you've got to monitor it and have public monitor it. Of course, when the idea went to the minister or ministry, they changed it to say that, oh yeah, we'll have retired army officers monitor it. So at least they listened to us, that idea, and implemented that. But again, the problems are huge. Because as long as the independent monitoring is not done, if the monitor themselves are paid by the government, they will say all the nice things that the minister wants to hear. So we bring out the stories, we keep an eye on the government, and also the other idea was especially to show that that's why I have the reporters all over the places. There's a lot of good experiments happening as well within the community. A lot of good things that are happening. So we try to bring those stories, and so that what happens, because we have a read nationally as well as internationally, and Muslims from a different corner, like say Assam, they read a story about some experiment that's being done in Kerala, they can pick it up and they can do that. So those are the things. So recently, we have been doing it for a while to bring positive stories, but now we have recently made it a formal, and every Friday we do a story called TCN Positive, which focuses on a person that has either their own personal challenges and succeeded in life, or they're doing something to empower other people and running other organizations, helping the community. So again, we have to recognize the positive work that's being done, not just criticize all the time. Right. And there are several examples. After 10 years, I'm very optimistic, very hopeful of what's happening. I'm not disappointed.
Who is running, and I kept saying you, Kashif bhai, was going
It's
on.
the whole team, yeah, definitely.
I'm worried.
No, you
Now
yeah.
I'm feeling better.
Yeah,
Now I'm feeling better. But one thing is, usually the newspaper and magazines is represent the view of some political leader
Right.
or some social
Yeah.
leader or political parties or some religious and
organization,
organization.
yeah.
What is your view, or who is your leader?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. In fact, a lot of people don't ask this question because when the money comes in, the money is always attached with some ideas and something, and they have their own agenda, and that's what they want to project. And that's why we made the structure of the TCN. I was very worried about that, that it shouldn't be that my view dictating what's really happening. I wanted TCN or twocircles.net to be a reflection of what's really happening in the community. The whole diversity of opinion that's there should come out, not because I agree with that. If I don't disagree, I kill it. And that's the problem with modern media, is that a lot of those things are suppressed. So we have tried that. So how we ensure we made it a non-profit. It's a 501c3 registered organization here in the U.S. So it's non-profit. We don't have one big funder. We don't have funding from an organization.
That's the biggest issue I think in front of you right now.
Which is a big challenge, because then you have to talk to many different people and get a little bit of money. So no one person has the influence on that.
I think this is your strength, and that
is my strength, and
that's your power. Yes, this challenge,
yeah.
And you accept it. It's a big thing.
And we are very open. I'm very accessible on social media through email and phone. So people, if they see something that don't like it, worried. And also, I'll have to say the community is very mature. We have done stories critical of big political leaders, big political organizations, and nobody has boycotted us. They say, okay, we agree, we don't agree with this article, but we understand that where this is coming from, and that's what we have been from day one, that we want to bring all that diversity. So we are not ideologically affiliated with any organizations. We are financially also not taking money from the government or any organization.
Any political leader, any political party.
No, not at all. So that's, and being in the US kind of also gives us an opportunity to step back and look at that, instead of, if I was in India, for example, would have been more pressure on me to do certain stories or not do that. So in a way, US provides that freedom for me to those stories that we want to do. Yeah.
Very good. After talking to you, I'm really hoping there's something better and something coming up good for with the Indian Muslims. So interesting. What is the challenge, or what challenges you are facing right now in India?
In India, challenges definitely. There are a lot of reporters available, but challenge is to find reporters that will represent the diversity that is in India. So people tend to attract people of their own kind. So I have made it really to get diversity of people as well. So for example, somebody from convent educated, somebody from madrasa graduate. I want all that people to be represented in my lineup of reporters. What we have really struggling hard is finding somebody from the Dalit community to come and join us, because there are very few reporters in the community because of the discrimination that's been going on and their challenges. So we are getting some good CVs coming, so hopefully we'll do that. Women reporters, that's also has been our challenge, and we have from the beginning always had at least one, but I want to increase that number. And have women issue, and women issue is not just like cooking and stuff like that, which is what people traditionally think. But to represent that, we have been somewhat successful, but I think that's still a challenge that even within the TCN reporters, we don't have enough women representation. And I feel bad about that. So that's definitely something definitely that's always been there, but it's just. It is a challenge.
Women issues is not just like they are not getting married and they are financially is not strong and this and that, but they have beyond many issues, beyond all this marriage and
Yeah.
finance and education.
Oh, definitely,
There were
definitely.
so many things.
No, and telling stories from their perspective. Just to give you an example of what kind of stories we have done. So for example, whenever you see, and this is we're talking about our 10-year anniversary program is challenging this, stereotypes. So one of the stereotype about Eid Day picture, if you remember, if you see any time, any year, is like what two kids hugging each other, gale mil rahe hain, and men and women are nowhere in the picture. You see some little girls dressed up, but that's what are they?
Until 5 years old.
Yeah, what are Muslim women doing?
Yeah.
They're back home cooking. So one day, one year, we on Eid Day we had a big picture of actually women cooking in the kitchen. Say this is the reality of the thing, right?
Of course.
So when you talk about just this stereotypical images of all that, we're missing the whole 50% of the population.
Exactly.
So that's what we're trying to do is and having reporters from the community, from that background, is important to tell that story. So that's what we have been trying to do. Yeah.
Very good. So, if we see in India, in the last 60 years after a partition, we do not have any scholar or as a leader. So, what was?
No, that's a good thing. I don't see that as a bad thing. I think because that tells you that actually a lot of religious leaders, a lot of academicians who can speak on behalf of the community or who can speak from their angle.
I agree,
and
but
also
not from Muslims.
No, I'm talking about Muslims. There are a lot of people like that. So one thing is that the media doesn't reach them because they want controversial figures. Though they try to highlight the controversial ones.
They just sell stories.
That's right. Plus, absence of a one leader that everybody believes in is a good thing, because then what happens then, that gives us space for all those people to emerge as leaders. So we have leaders on community level, mohalla level, and whatnot, who are respected in the community and who are doing the work. And that leadership is closer to the community versus having a national level leader who cannot, because there's so much diversity in the Muslim population that one leader cannot represent that, right? I mean, if you get a political leader who's Urdu speaking, then you're disenfranchising Assamese Muslims, Bengali Muslims, Muslims from Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and all that region. So I don't see that as a problem that we need to have one leader that should represent us. I don't think so. And in the past, the problem has been, we have those leaders who are big. They usually bargain for their benefit instead of championing the cause of the community. So I'd rather have 100 leaders, smaller size, than one big political leader.
Okay. So thank you so much. You gave hope, at least to me, about Indian Muslims and situation what's going on in India. But you are here, you're based here, the to Circle Net. What is the challenge in front of you right now? As an editor, and you are chief editor of
Right. A challenge is to create a team around me that can take up the job, because obviously, it's a daily operation. It takes up and you run your own media organization, so you're aware of that, coordinating and getting things done while having a full-time job and a family. So it takes its toll. So I'm trying to get more people involved and all that. So we are having a 10-year anniversary celebration on May 22nd in Natick, and so the idea is to even though you have known me for 5 years at least, right, and it still didn't know all the stories that we do because we never get the chance to sit down and talk properly about that.
We all are busy in different directions.
Right, and which is fair. So that's why this is an opportunity. We are bringing everybody who kind of know about it. I think these are the type of stories that we do. So they will get involved and become part of the team. Of course, finance is also a big issue for us. It's still we run a very lean operation. We don't have huge overhead. We don't have any office in India or anywhere. So it just cuts down. So all the money that we raise goes to actually reporters doing the job with their salaries and the travel and whatnot. So that's what
basically it is celebration plus fundraising.
That's right. That's correct.
So this is good, and it's for public. So anybody can come?
Anybody can go, but it's a smaller location, so we are
Okay.
encouraging people to buy the tickets. So we,
Yeah, of
we
course,
make
of
sure
course.
that we have a space for them, and also we have a very good chef. Her name is Renita Mendoza. She had appeared on
Wow.
Food Network and
Really?
Chopped, and
Wow.
she's really amazing. So we want to make sure everybody has good
The
food
good food,
to
of
eat.
course, I'll
So
be there too.
so purchase your tickets now so that you
So,
make sure that.
can you tell us our audience where they go and buy tickets?
Yes, they can go to twocircles.net, but also we will have the link hopefully with this video, so they can click on the link and get to that.
Perfect,
Yes.
perfect. And would like to invite our audience?
Yes, please come. We're going to be talking about a lot of stories, and even though it's a very small media organization, twocircles.net, but we have done a lot of impactful stories, and a lot of stories that we have done were followed up by other bigger media organizations, and a lot of changes have happened because of some of the stories that we have done. And we'll be talking in details about those stories, how we do it, and you will have the opportunity to talk, ask questions, and hopefully learn something about the operation that we do.
So your website is
twocircles.net.
twocircles.net, guys. I'm sure we will see you. Thank you so much for coming here and giving us an opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Razia
sir.
ji. Yeah, thank you.